You didn't?
I might be able to add it. No, I
Can you
won't.
add the restream chat?
I don't think so.
Oh, for the love of the Lord and all that's holy.
We didn't follow our plan.
Ay. Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, whichever time zone you happen to be
Whatever the
in.
case may be, indeed.
It is Doug and Heidi McGurk, Heidi Rain and Doug, and we are so excited to come with you on this Sunday and spend some time together. The holidays are coming, and we really want to make a commitment to you to be going live to help prepare you. As you know, on this channel, addiction and relationships, we help people that are impacted, whatever level that might be. Maybe you are married to an alcoholic or an addict, or you're in a relationship, or you have a child that is not doing well, or you have an aging parent or a parent that is struggling.
Or you might even have someone like working with you in your company, and that or
That's
businesses.
right.
I mean, these
Partners.
are our families as well. Yeah, your partner in business. So this affects every area of our life, especially during the holiday season.
Yeah. And I remember, growing up as the child of an alcoholic and other substances, I always had the vision in my mind as I was growing up when I was a little girl. I don't know if you can relate to this, not growing up as a little girl.
I couldn't do
No,
that.
probably not. But just having a vision for every holiday, I wanted what I saw in the movies. I wanted to have the
blessing and curse
Hallmark,
of movies. Yes,
right.
the escape and then the delusional thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to have the Hallmark, and I'd picture like, oh man, it's going to be so perfect. And I'd go through it in my mind and get really excited. And I just love the whole Christmas season. And I know that we have a lot of people that are with us from all over the world. So we're just using Christmas here in the States. So obviously, whatever you can relate to, whatever holiday of celebration of whatever celebration
celebration could be a
exactly.
wedding, a birth, any reason to get together.
Yeah, and these are times for magic, right? Weddings are a time for magic. Christmas is a time for magic. I wish I had little like Elsa hands right now that I could just like go. Yeah,
mid post production.
We can edit it. Yeah. And these are the times that we dream about, sitting in front of the fireplace with your warm cocoa and your stories, and going to the movies on Thanksgiving and everybody. But for many of us, it ends up more like Christmas Vacation, right?
Sadly,
but worse. Christmas Vacation is funny, right? That's one of my favorite.
That's why it's but they take a reality and they lighten it, and I think that also steps into kind of what you're sharing as well, is that even when things go bad, that romantic in us, we romanticize it and go, yeah, but at the end, this year it's going to be different. They're going to have that moment. They're going to just everything's going to come together. So,
this is a little bright. I'm going to shut this a little bit.
All right. So throw in the comments, actually, by the way, what is your experience?
Worried about? Yeah. What are you worried about, stressed about this holiday?
Right. And what is your romantic vision? Like, if
what
would you like? What do you imagine it could be? Or maybe it's one of these things. Maybe it was great at one time years ago. Maybe you actually have evidence of, and that's usually the case, you have evidence of a time when it went great, and that was 10, 20 years ago.
By the way, if you're new here, you're like, who the hell are you? And what are you talking about? So anyway, we're Doug and Heidi, and basically we've dedicated most of our adult lives, in our 20s, we started with personal development. And we've been on a wild ride with that ever since. I mean, you have been down the road. You worked with Tony Robbins for many years, traveling around. You've worked with the greats, Les Brown. You've written books with Jack Canfield, and you've been a personal development guru for most of your life. And I was not quite guru status, but definitely helping people in the same vein. And magic would have it, right? As lives would have it and unfold, we ended up working in the space of addiction and recovery. And you were working for Tony Robbins at the time, and we got recruited because one of the owners of the treatment facility, one of the best treatment facilities in the world, was a Tony Robbins fan. Of course, obviously, right? And he would, he used that to build his business, and it was amazing. And
he gave every client Awaken the Giant Within.
He did, and they would use that book in their book studies. And so when he met Doug, he said, oh my gosh, what's it going to take to get you to leave Tony Robbins and come to this treatment center? Because nobody needs this philosophy more than people that are addicted and struggling, and they don't have access to it.
Well, and also who are dealing with people who are addicted,
That's right.
because they're actually a group that has even less resources and less support. Because what do you do? What happens most of the time?
We didn't go, can you hear us okay? And we wouldn't
I
even
mean,
be
we
able to
wouldn't
see
know.
if people couldn't.
Yeah, we forgot
We
to put
could
on retrat.
literally just be talking to ourselves right now.
Yeah,
I don't know. We can't see anything. It's okay. Go on. I'm sorry.
it's all good. So, point being is that when you have someone that you love, who's struggling with addiction, you say, oh, well, go to meetings, go to a treatment center, go to what have you, and then you're left with, well, what do I do? And the truth is, we need to acknowledge that you as well deserve
That was the gap.
the help, the support.
The gap was, you're so right, Doug. The gap was the families, and what drove me crazy in particular when I was dealing with addiction inside the treatment center was the level of oblivion that would come from the addicts or alcoholics. That I would. So my job at the treatment center, and I just was like part of the package deal that came with you. But my job was to work with the clients in the area of relationships. I really believe that addiction is a relationship issue at the core. Like Adlerian psychology believes that all relationships are interpersonal. All problems are interpersonal problems, relationship problems. And so I would really encourage the clients to, hey, you're in recovery here. You're in treatment. You're trying to get your head on straight, but you're going to go home to your whole family who is right where you left them. And they'd say, oh, no, I can't even tell you the things that we would hear from the addicts and alcoholics around their families. They'd say things like, well, they don't even really know that I have a problem. They don't even,
it doesn't really affect them.
They don't even really know. They don't know anything at all. I only drink when they go to bed, or I only use substances when they, and I hide it. I'm a garage drinker, I'm a garage person, all these things. And I thought, if there were a way to help these addicts and alcoholics understand the impact that they're having, but it's kind of futile a lot of the times, because that understanding comes many years down the road. So the families needed somewhere to go, because they wouldn't be able to go to the source of the pain to heal the pain, to get it. So we were like, you know what? Let's create it. Let's create a family program. Let's create a family course, because we saw that huge gap in help for people.
Right.
And we were like, let's fill it. So by the way, if you want to know more about that, I'm going to cut you off. But if you want to know more about that family program we created a family survival toolkit for you, and we'll link it here as we go through and talk. But if you want everything we've ever taught, all the coaching calls, we have that for you, and we'll put the link so you can grab it.
Indeed. And just to piggyback on what you were sharing, the other thing that would happen through the program was because we work so closely with the clients who were struggling with addiction. So we saw that side to then help be a gap to show even the families in a more compassionate understanding, so they would have a deeper understanding. So, because the goal is to repair, heal, to reconnect.
If you can, let's do that first. Don't most families want to know before they leave a person or cut them off? Well, I did everything I could.
Right. And really,
so they can sleep at night.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, and again, some things.
So that's what we want to give you, the tools to do everything you can.
Right. Yeah, because obviously there's different kinds of relationships and different ways that we want to move forward, depending on, of course, the myriad of all of your unique situations. The purpose here and our goal is for you to have enough understanding, awareness, compassion, forgiveness, everything that you're making, whatever decisions you're making, from an empowered state. That's why we want you to become a family empowerment warrior with us, because through that empowerment, you will be able to sleep at night. You will be able to make those decisions, have absolute confidence and certainty in what you believe in, what you're willing to accept, what you're willing to tolerate, and then be able to move forward without being so confused and freaked out. Because when we're in that state, we're not effective.
Let's just piggyback and dovetail on what you just said about what you're going to tolerate. We really want to spend some time on this Sunday morning with you talking about boundaries, because those are the keys, right? Your boundaries are the keys, and boundaries are not not a manipulation. It's not, I'm going to do something to make you behave a certain way, or that it's an ultimatum to get somebody to change. A boundary is better said as a personal standard that you're going to hold for yourself. And so we want to help you do that. We live in hurricane season. Can we talk about that a little bit? Okay.
Ruminate on that. That was such beautiful.
Oh, was it?
There was a quote.
Oh.
and now I forgot it. It was a
I do it all the time.
it's your standard.
Oh yeah, boundary is not an ultimatum. A boundary is a personal standard you hold for yourself. You should make a meme if it resonated.
Yeah,
That's
there you
good. Let's
go. I'm
make a little
saying,
quote
you know,
thing.
that
It'd
was
be
that was.
nice.
I thought that was a mic drop moment.
Thank you.
So,
You think I have mic drop moments. That's
most of
why
the
you
time,
love me.
mhm.
And that's why I love being with you, because you know, stoke my little fire there
Yeah.
sometimes. I appreciate that about you.
Thank you.
So
Hurricanes.
boundaries and hurricanes.
Yes.
So getting back. So we live in Florida. We live in South Florida, and you know, every year we have hurricane season, and it sucks. It's the worst, right? Where you have to get out there. You have to, you know, I don't get out there. This one gets out there, okay, and he gets out there, and it's hot. It's freaking hot, and he's out there climbing up on the ladder and putting the shutters up and going to Costco with all the other jerks. He's not a jerk, but there's a lot of jerks at Costco that are running around with their carts of water and selling out of everything. And God knows you hunker down, you get the flashlights, you get the generators going, you do all the things you need to do, and then you eat your snacks within 24 hours before the hurricane even hit. And now you're foodless and you're wondering how you're going to survive. And you think, what your neighbors get at Costco? Okay, I digress. So you do all the things, and some people don't do anything. You know, some people are like, oh my God, it's a hurricane. There's a guy on TikTok who's so funny. He's like a Florida guy. He always does the Florida weather. I love him. I don't know his name. If you do, tell me. But he always talks about how, you know, Floridians are like, oh, that's no big deal, you know, whatever. So some people don't do anything at all, and other people do go the extra mile. In either case, if the hurricane comes or doesn't come, the damage that's done, who's responsible for their own space?
So, you know, going in, if you don't prep,
You know, going in, if you don't prep, you don't get to say, well, I didn't do anything to my house. I didn't take any action. And I'm pissed off that that hurricane went in. That hurricane had the nerve to come in here and whirl around and rip out my thing. How dare that hurricane? Nobody in their right mind would say that, right? Because there's some people looking and go, dude, it's a hurricane. You know what I mean? But what
Right.
happens to us is we don't go, dude, it's an addict or an alcoholic. Come on, dude. We
Well,
go, no, that's my uncle.
right.
That's my dad. That's my mom. That's my sister. That's my husband. And you forget that the primary issue they're dealing with is addiction, and you hold them to a standard of behavior that they are ill-equipped and never can rise up to in this current state they're in. So you've got to hold your standard. I'm not saying to lower your standards. I'm saying do what you need to do to prepare and protect yourself.
And
Hurricane protection has nothing to do with, you know, how beautiful your house is or how much, you know, it has to do with protecting the space that you do have.
right. And then the other thing, using the hurricane analogy that we forget, and we could use this through addiction as well, is, believe it or not, in a hurricane, most of the death, most of the the real destruction
Oh, yeah,
happens after the hurricane.
that's crazy. You told me that the other
Yeah,
day.
because what happens is, even when we prepare, that's the other thing, is we prepare, we think we've done some level of preparation, but then the flood water comes in, all, you know, this is where the deaths happen, this is where the power is out, so it's all the residual, it's the shrapnel, it's all of those other challenges that show up, that if we're not truly prepared, we're prepared for more than just the hurricane itself coming in. We're also prepared for the fallout. How are we setting up ourselves to be prepared for what's going to happen for those days, weeks, months after the fact? And, you know, as an example around that, an addiction, like someone crashes their car, they're drunk and they crash their car. That's just the beginning of the hell.
Facts.
Right? So
Facts.
one of the things that we also forget is how much preparation we can do for ourselves for the longer run. So let's say, as an example, something does happen, the crap hits the fan, the peanut butter hits the fan, and then that person does go to treatment. Well, that changes more than just their life. That changes your life. That changes your children's life, your business life, it changes everything for that time frame. So it is vital that we look at this holistically, that we're looking at how it impacts all the different areas. And the other thing that we found at the treatment center is that when people go to treatment, then they think their loved one's getting fixed. So that's mistake, you know, number one around that. But then the other thing is, sometimes they don't take their time apart in that moment to work on themselves to be able to be more equipped when they come back,
That's
or what
right.
that plan is
And
going to
because,
be.
you know, like an alcoholic or an addict stops drinking for 4 days or goes into treatment, and then they go, well, I'm better now.
Yeah,
So
I stopped drinking.
what's the matter with you? I'm all fixed. What's your problem? You can't live in the past. Well, I mean, come on. Every time you bring up what happened in the past, you make me want to use or drink or whatever. And you find yourself walking on eggshells all the time. And that's the thing at holidays too. I remember those holidays where I would be like, okay, look, dad's coming over for Christmas. No alcohol in the house. I know some people would like a glass of wine, but let's not really, or just no beer. Dad only drinks beer, not wine. So
Everybody changed their
everybody else
experience. So
behave a certain way and have these expectations, like, and then I, go to my dad and be like, Dad, we're going to have Thanksgiving. And one Thanksgiving I had hosted them at my house. And I was like, super excited to have my dad. So again, for step number one is I'm like, what kind of vision do I want to create? It was my first house I bought by myself in my early 20s. And it was like this magical place. And I was like so excited, and I was preparing the turkey and making the stuffing, and I suck. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. Okay. I suck, but I tried, I'm cooking, I'm doing the things, I'm like decorating the house, putting Christmas stuff up, and he's coming in, and I'm just thinking this is going to be a dream come true. I'm going to have the family holiday season that I've always wanted to have, and set the table. Come on. Have a conversation with my dad. Dad, I hope you don't go off the rails tonight. We're trying to have a nice dinner. Oh, of course, Rain, but at the end of the night, bad things are happening, right? People are, and then the next day I'm like, damn, and sad because it didn't turn out the way I wanted to turn out. And then instead of like realizing and understanding,
but you made the perfect setting.
Yeah. Well, the setting should have done it, but the reality is that's exactly right. And then I ended up on the other side of that feeling resentful, angry, pissed, betrayed, hurt, just used, abused, unappreciated, unseen,
taken
all the
advantage
things
of.
that you feel on a regular basis in this scenario. So how can you avoid that? What can you do? And we want to tell you this holiday season, and we're going to walk you through all the way up through a whole thing. Okay. If you're in the States, it's holiday season. All right. So if you're not in the States, like I said earlier, just apply to
some other
something
countries
else,
do
right?
this too. They have.
Yes, everybody has everything, but I'm saying you don't have to be specific,
Mhm.
right? To a certain Thanksgiving example is something we're doing,
yeah.
right? Okay. So you might not have that resonate with that, but think of something else. Okay. So I think that for you, we want to equip you from now up through those whole holidays until the new year begins. Every Sunday, we're going to come on here and be with you live. And we're going to share with you some of the mistakes we've heard people make, some of the challenges that we know you're going to face. And today, it's just a toe dipping in. Now, by the way, if you want all this material in your hot little hands and you want to click on, I just want to hear about boundaries today. I just want to hear about, should I stay or should I go? Or I just want to hear about how this happened. You have a whole course and a program over at the holiday.
Or even if you need
to
relieve some stress.
It's all part of it. So we've created the Holiday Survival Toolkit for you, and it's over. We'll put the link in here.
Yep.
Can I say the link?
Yeah.
What is it?
Holiday Survival Toolkit.
Well, that makes sense.
.com.
HolidaySurvivalToolkit.com. So.
Or you go to BoundaryWorkbook.com and there's a workbook for you. Yeah.
There's a free workbook over at BoundaryWorkbook.com, and that'll help you aligned with what we're talking about today. So the first thing that you need to do this week, okay, and we're not going to give you 14 steps because this really is.
We're going to cap it off at 13.
This is going to be a process for you, okay? So because it's a process for all of us. The first thing we want you to spend some time on this week is we want you to set your standard. Okay, and what we want you to do is we want you to have a list to bring back with us next week when we come here on Sunday. And we're going to be here at 11:11 Eastern time, US, every Sunday for several weeks. All right. So tell your friends.
And if you like it, maybe more.
Tell your friends. If you know somebody who could benefit from this, get them here. So here's what we want you to do this week and bring back to you next Sunday. We want you to make a list. One thing, two pages. One is what are you no longer willing to settle for? What are you no longer willing to settle for? And we want you to get yourself into a state of probably anger. Get a little worked up. Why don't you play that song? Play that song that pisses you off. Get yourself into a good state. Think about the other holidays, that were jacked. Right?
Yeah.
Get worked up. Right? I mean, I would do that. I'd get worked up.
Well,
I want to get hot.
Yes.
And then I'll be like, hey.
Okay. We just don't want to check in the ecology here and be sure we're also going to help them get into a.
Honey, after you do that, take a bath. After you do that, take a bath. Okay. After you do that.
Don't get all fired up and then.
No,
wait,
no.
I'm not supposed to send this letter?
Fired up and write it down because you're bring it back next week. Okay. Write it down. Get fired up. After you get fired up and write it down, go for a run. Go release that energy. Okay. Go to the gym. Go take a bath. It could be releasing energy. Go do something that, in a healthy way that will release that energy. Then the next day or later on in the week, we want you to get into a beautiful state, something that, get in a place that you feel most supported. Maybe that place is out in nature for you. Maybe you go into the woods or you go, I don't know,
do a gratitude meditation, do something so you could get into a very beautiful state, a place where you're full of love, compassion, empathy,
for yourself,
creativity,
for yourself.
Yeah.
Not for anybody else.
Right.
This is all about you. If you loved yourself the way you love other people, amen. If you we're going to give to yourself like your favorite kid. Don't tell me you don't have one. You do. If you have more than one, I know you do. If you were going to give to your child, no, probably just one. If you were going to give to that child, what would you want to give? And we're going to write that down and what do I really want? What am I no longer willing to tolerate or settle for? I could get hot just thinking about it. And what do I really, really want? And just bring that back. That's step one. We're going to guide you through this process. We are going to give to you on us. This is our season of giving. This is our season of ministry, giving back. Now, if you want to support us and give back to us, we have lots of links for that. We have a website. We have the holidaysurvivaltoolkit.com. I think we have even a Patreon. If you feel like you want to donate to the cause or whatever, that's fine. But this is on us. This is session one. Okay. It's only going to work if you go through this preparatory season with us. So this is just the first day. So make sure we're going to leave this video right where it is. We're going to leave this right where it is just to give you time to just do these exercises. Self-help is not shelf help. You can come listen to the most brilliant sermon. The most brilliant coach, teacher, whatever. And you'll feel so good.
It reminds me of a story.
Tell me the story.
The sermon. So one day this pastor comes out and he shares the most incredible sermon ever. Like he got standing ovation.
Well,
like it was good. That good. Like he was like blown away. He's like, oh my gosh, wow. I hit a button. He goes, this is great. I'm serving. I'm doing the Lord's work. It's incredible. Boom, throws it in there. And then has the week go by and some parishioners came in and whatever, came another week. But the second week, everyone comes in and he notices some things and he does the same sermon. Teaches the exact same sermon. And people applaud and like, oh, okay. They were a little confused and they're like, oh, maybe he's, they just didn't know what to think. And they go back and the following week they come in and he delivers the same sermon yet again. Now people are getting a little concerned about him now. They're getting a little nervous. Like, what is going on? They're questioning things. And they go, another week goes by and go again. And finally, a couple of them get together. Go, there's something wrong with him. He's got Alzheimer's or something. We got to go check in on him. And they go to the pastor and say, Pastor, this sermon that you gave today was really good. And as a matter of fact, when you did it a month ago, we were blown away, and then we all standing ovation, if I recall, and it was amazing. And then for the last 4 weeks, we've done the exact same sermon. And he starts going, you noticed? And like, well, yeah, of course we noticed. And he goes, oh, okay. So at least I know you're paying attention. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to do it again next week and the week after that and the week after that until you start applying the lessons in the sermon. So that being said.
Yeah. Did they feel judged? I'm just kidding.
Wow. So you just went right. You took the. You,
Do they
you
use
took
that
the.
tone?
You took
Do they
the.
go until you do it? No. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. The greatest gap in life for all of us, for every single one of us walking the planet, the greatest gap in life is between knowing and doing. I love epiphanies. I get off on epiphanies. That's my love language. My love language is epiphany and like radical understanding of things. And I'm guilty too of not slowing down long enough to implement the things that I've learned because I have an insatiable need for more knowledge, more understanding, more whatever, more next chapter. But the truth is that we need to sit with something long enough until it marinates into our soul. And when it marinates in the soul, it's like a soup, it's like a stew.
Well,
And
not only just sit
it's
with it, take
better,
action with it,
right?
and learn the different ways that what you
To
just learned,
apply
how
it.
it works.
To
Yeah,
apply
how
it,
you do
master
it.
the skill. So
Could-
the first thing is just a journal entry is mastering the skill. The first time you do this week, and you write down, you say, what am I no longer willing to settle for? You're going to write 4 bullet points or maybe 3. Lies, you're dumb shit, your stupid manipulation, and your dumbass. Okay. You're going to write 4 things you're no longer willing to settle for or tolerate. And that's the first thing that's going to come up for you because that anger is going to be there. But as you sit with it throughout the week and you start to really think about what is the obstacle in your life that's holding you back from really having all the joy you want. What are those things? Well, I'm no longer willing to settle or tolerate for things where I don't experience bliss and joy. I'm no longer willing to settle for clothes in my closet that don't make me feel good about my body and who I am as a person. I'm no longer willing to settle for being tolerated in places instead of celebrated. I'm no longer willing to walk on eggshells. I'm no longer willing to pretend that I'm okay when I'm not. Honey, take your time. Because when you do, you're going to create more and more is going to become clear for you. So let it marinate, let it simmer. And also then what do I want? Well, I want peace. 4th thing, I want peace. I want him to stop. I want a better life and I just want to be happy. Well, that's not enough. You got to let it marinate and you got to let it simmer and say, well, what do I really want? If I could be anything, if I could have anything, if I was safe enough to dream, if I was allowed to want what I want, what would I want? And let yourself want that.
And it's okay to, I know on one level we were talking about like just a holiday experience, but this transcends it because
Absolutely.
as you start showing up as your best self, as your being of tolerance, being of awareness, being of connection, you'll see that as you take better care of yourself, as you have these recognitions, you will be able to apply it to these different areas, areas that are also, because you can't control what happens on the outside world. You can only control how you respond. And this process is that transference from reaction to response, because now you'll have a better place in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, your connection, that you can say, okay, well, no, this isn't congruent with who I am, with
this is
what
my
I'm
new
becoming.
standard.
Yeah.
This is it for me. And I know it when I turn 50. I don't know about you. I feel like I think we have people all over the age. I know I've worked with people so young and I've worked with people that were much older on this journey. But when I hit 50, I was like, holy shit, man, this is it. This is it. We have a morning, afternoon, and evening of our lives, and I'm about to go sleep. I'm in the evening of my life. What do I need?
You're in the twilight.
I am. But if
evening.
if I own that and I go, yeah, I'm in the evening of my life, I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to waste time anymore. I'm not going to be in relationships or situations or friendships or situationships that drain my energy
Mhm.
and vampires are sucking off my wounds, my childhood wounds. I'm not doing it anymore. All right. And I don't want that for you either. So take us up on this journey for the next several Sundays where we're going to be here live with you, working you through. Take your time with this lesson today. Then this lesson is boundaries. Okay. And it's step number one is get clarity. Next Sunday at 11:11 Eastern Time US, we're going to do step number 2. Okay. So just practice step 1 this week. We love you. We hope you have a beautiful day. Our family's here. We're so excited. My sissy's here and her daughter has been staying with us. And we're a little sad today because that's coming to a close.
Mm.
Family is so important. We we love our family. Our family's not perfect. Certainly we've all been through a lot, but we encourage you that if you value family too, that you allow us to become part of your family, and you allow us to come along with you on this journey, that you join our family, not to sound like Charlie Manson right now, like a little, like I'm this is a cult. It's not. I mean, it could be if we're all cool and we're all just like-minded people.
No,
but,
no.
a
cult is just like-minded people.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on.
I mean, but what I'm saying is you found a way home.
Yeah.
Welcome home. Okay. We see you, we feel you, we understand you, and we want to help you. And why would we do something like that? Because we have an interdependent relationship. We know that when we pour out, it comes back in for us too. We're not stingy with that. We don't have a lack mentality. We know that pouring into you will come back in whatever way it's meant
For
to
all
come
of
back.
us.
But if
Yep.
it's from you and you want to pour back in because you've gotten something out of this today, then that's beautiful too. And you can do that by purchasing the Holiday Survival Kit over at the Holiday Survival Kit
Holiday Survival Toolkit.
Toolkit.com. Okay?
Okay.
All right. We love you. Let's get out of here and spend the day with our family before they have to head back.
Yep. We love you for who you are.